According to Jake Fisher, the Josh Giddy contract situation has quote unquote strained the relationship between Giddy and the Chicago Bulls. How is it going to play out? We'll talk about it.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
What is going on, Bulls Nation? So the Josh Giddy contract saga continues, and there's a new fold now, which apparently, and this is no surprise, that this contract negotiation is going to create a strain between Giddy and the organization. Giddy wants 30. Apparently, the Bulls are only offering 20. I don't know if that's a hard 20. I don't know who's hard here. I don't know if it's Giddy just made up his mind that he wants 30, or the Bulls just made up their mind that they only are going to offer 20. If it's Giddy, who's just 30 or bust, I'm sorry to inform him and his agent, but no one is thinking that he is worth 30. Out of those 4 restricted free agents, none of them are worth 30. As a matter of fact, Jalen Suggs is not worth 30, nor Emmanuel Quickly. But they gave it to them. So that's their problem. If I am the Bulls, I am willing to go up to 25. 20 is kind of like, I don't know. I guess you got to start low as far as negotiation. But if you are the Bulls, realistically, okay, so Giddy's not worth 30. He's also not worth 20. He's somewhere in between. He is really worth, in my opinion, 25. That is his worth. If a team-friendly deal is 20, one of you meet in the middle around 23. Now, if you're Giddy, you'll be like, hey, I'm going to sign 23, but I need some player option there, like maybe third-year player option. So if I outplayed, the 2 years, so even if you go 4 years, 23 million, that is still almost $100 million. It's 96. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 92, so that's not bad. I mean, make the 4th year, maybe, if you were the Bulls, if I'll be like, all right, 3 years and the 4th year player option. All right, so that's done. That's less than 100 million. If Giddy, if you're Giddy, you'll be like, all right, let's do 3 years, 3rd year player option. If I was the Bulls, no, take the qualifying offer. Because at that point, why I'm 1 year more than a qualifying offer. Why don't you just sign that and audition, and let's see how it works out for you. If you're Josh Giddy, I don't know. It's hard. You can bet on yourself, and you could have the same exact season that you had towards the end of the season. But if you're his agent, there's a lot of factors involved here. What if, A, you get injured? I hope he doesn't, but what if you get injured? That's one. B, even if you don't get injured, what if they signed Trey Jones? What if you get the same treatment? What if they start benching you? If they start benching you the entire season because they got pissed at you, meaning the Bulls, I don't think Billy Donovan is a big fan of Josh Giddy. That's first and foremost. If they start benching you again, now your value's really now your contract situation for next year is really in the garbage, because now you can't. Now Trey Jones just outplayed you. Now there's Ayo Dosunmu. Remember when he made that stretch, Ayo Dosunmu was gone. So maybe Billy Donovan was kind of like forced. His hands were forced to just play Josh Giddy towards the end. Worked out for the Bulls and Josh Giddy himself, but now that Ayo is back, if he doesn't get traded, and also, you got Trey Jones in there, what if all of a sudden you get treated like the Josh Giddy that was being treated the first 51 games of the season? You might start the game, and then all of a sudden you're getting 19, 18 minutes, sitting down the entire 4th quarter. Man, what kind of contract are you going to make up for the next year? So if you signed a qualifying offer, you signed 11. So if the Bulls is offering you 20, for example, you already lost $9 million at that point. And then the next year, if you can't get 30, 35, how are you going to make up that $9 million that you already lost? So there's no guarantee. Even if you play the qualifying offer, it would be nice to say, he's like, hey, show them, play the qualifying offer, and then bolt out next year. Show them your value. But what if he doesn't? Like there's the Bulls have like 14 guards. So they got Kobe, they got Ayo now. If you're Josh, you hope that Ayo gets traded, and then you sign a qualifying offer. So therefore, you are still the featured guard. Sure, you got Trey Jones in there, but Ayo is one less competition because we all know what Ayo could do defensively. That is something that Josh couldn't do. Josh is more refined offensively. His passing, his rebounding, and all that stuff. He's size as well, but defensively, Billy likes to play Ayo in multiple positions. So now, if you are, let's say fourth quarter, you can run an Ayo, Kobe, Isaac Okoro, Matas Buzelis is pretty good defensively as well. If you want to put Matas as the 5 and then Patrick Williams the 4, you lose some offense there, but defensive wise, we know that's important. Indiana showed that again. This finals showed a lot of teams what the blueprint now is for this new CBA, and unfortunately, that is why guys like Cam Thomas is not going to get a big contract. Cam Thomas is the guy. He gives you that vibe that he puts up good numbers on bad teams. We've had that. We've had Zach LaVine. Terrific numbers, bad team, undersized guard. That is Cam Thomas, not Zach LaVine. As far as the other guys, Kuminga might be the one that could get paid. I would say around 25, 26, only because he's been in a winning situation. He's been a champion. He puts up numbers that could win you. On the playoffs, he was the highest scorer when Curry went down. Now they didn't advance, but that was the playoffs as well, so leave it as it may, whatever you want to think about it. But I would say as a scorer, he has a high upside. I would say more than Giddy. Not skill-wise. Well, maybe skill-wise as well. He's a very skilled offensive player. It's just that there's something about him, his athleticism. In Giddy, he was in a good team. You can't give him this Cam Thomas was like, he puts up numbers on a bad team. Giddy can put up numbers. Well, he was putting up numbers and they were still a bad team at that time. And then they became good. They traded him. So that's one thing that's always looming in Giddy's head. Like the team that he came out of became the champion when he left. Now that's not all on him, but that is a point of conversation. If you're the Bulls or other teams that's trying to trade for Giddy, one thing about Giddy as well is that with Kuminga, you do hear a lot of rumors. Like teams are interested with Jonathan Kuminga, sign and trade. Now with Josh Giddy, you never hear any rumblings of a sign and trade or teams clearing up cap space to acquire him. So that is alarming if you are in his camp, because there's no interest. There's nothing there. So we'll see how it plays out. I just hope we get a resolution, because I'm also interested in what the Bulls are going to do after the Josh Giddy situation, because even if Josh Giddy signs for 25, we still have room as far as sign and trade for, the rumor is Jonathan Kuminga. I want to see that pairing. I really do. I think that's a good dynamic, backcourt out there. Not even backcourt, with the Giddy's passing and Kuminga's athleticism. I would love to see that. But I hope this gets resolved, whether he signs a qualifying offer or as long as he doesn't sign for 30, I'm good. Sign for 25. I'm okay with that. We'll see what happens. But I also want to see other moves. But let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.